I'm actually seconded from the High Value Manufacturing Catapult as CEO of the Advanced Manufacturing Innovation Centre in Queen's University in Belfast. So, welcome to Belfast, those of you there physically. I'm afraid I'm back in sunny Yorkshire today for a research symposium on smart design, which is an area of critical focus for AMIC and certainly for the High Value Manufacturing Catapult and much of the network. But it's an exciting place to be, particularly the last week. We've had the eyes of the world on Belfast, with Joe Biden's visits, and then the events this week, about a 5-10 minute walk up the road from where you are now at Queen's, on the Good Friday Agreement celebrations with the Clintons, and we've got Joe Kennedy, the special envoy to Northern Ireland from the US, Vice President of the European Union, have all been in Belfast looking at the opportunities that 25 years of peace can bring and the next phase, and particularly looking at the Windsor framework and what that can bring to Belfast. One of the things that's come out in the discussions I've had around the margins with some of the key figures has been around Northern Ireland potentially as a test bed with the size and scale it has in addressing some of the global and UK system level challenges that we're trying to address, very much in line with the scope of this launchpad, looking at challenges around net zero, around life sciences and healthcare and wellbeing, and also around supply chain resilience, have very much been the hot topics of the last week in Belfast. So a very appropriate scope for what we're trying to do here and launch here today. I was 6 years as CTO of the High Value Manufacturing Catapult before seconded out here to look at how we support Northern Ireland manufacturing and build the partnerships with AMIC, which is £100 million investment initially in an advanced manufacturing innovation centre like the Catapults. And as CTO, I helped to establish, along with the IFM Cambridge, the UK Manufacturing Forum, which was a community that came together really looking at how do we address the system level challenges for the UK as a research base, as a manufacturing innovation and as industry. How do we come together to address these challenges and achieve something great in the sum of the parts? That's been going for just over 5 years, and a great community. I'd encourage you to all engage with that in the annual events that we have. But a key thing there is the mechanisms to drive that change and make a difference. And the Research in Residence program is an excellent program. I believe has seen some great successes there of really effectively connecting the academic base, the innovation base, and the assets that we have across the expertise across the Catapult network with industry and trying to address those challenges, both in looking at how do we meet the research challenges that have been articulated, from industry and society, as well as how do we scale up the research and early stage science that's coming from the research base. How do we use the Catapults to effectively grow and scale those? And this scheme is a great opportunity to do that. In fact, I was involved with the very first iteration. I suppose this is Tranche 3 in some ways. We had the EPSC Manufacturing Research Fellows working closely with Mike Hinton, who's here virtually as well today. We'll be hearing from later in getting these schemes up and running. So we had some great successes. I really encourage you to seek out partnerships and collaboration. The opportunities that this brings, focusing on these grand challenges around net zero, around health and well-being and resilience. Great opportunities to build relationships and partnerships, to scale your research, access world-class facilities and capabilities in taking those forward, and build new relationships that can be more impactful, lead to further research and industrial impact, and a great chance to showcase some of the work you've done. We've had real successes over the years. I'm closest, of course, to the ones that have been linked to the High Value Manufacturing Catapult, where we first started the scheme, in things like additive manufacturing, in composites, in metrology, and forging, and some long-lasting relationships that have really cemented and moved on to bigger things. And there's also a House of Lords report looking at how the Catapult network effectively engages the academic community a few years ago. And out of that, there were recommendations and mechanisms such as scaling up the research residence program. We're very grateful to UKRI for effectively supporting this. And there is also a strong focus on manufacturing within the current calls as well. So really important mechanism. Really pleased to see this scaling and launch today. Apologies, I'm not in Belfast in person. I flew back last night and I'm back there again next week. But I hope you enjoy your time in Belfast, those of you who are present, who've travelled, as well as those who are local from Queen's and also universities. So I'll let you get on with the rest of the day and the agenda. Again, apologies not there in person, but I'm really excited that this is being launched. And please, I just encourage you all to engage, build partnerships, enjoy the day, and use this scheme to make an impact.